against Saracens due to a COVID outbreak in the Londoners squad. So it's been 3 weeks since they last played a match. There's a couple of changes for this one then that Susie Appleby's made, and she's been able to welcome back her England under-20s contingent. Flo Robinson comes in at scrum half in place of Brooke Bradley, who reverts to the bench. Maisie Allen captained England under-20s in those recent games against Scotland Futures, and then was vice-captain against the French under-20s side. She starts at open side flanker, and Nancy McGillivray lines up on the bench as well for the Chiefs. Players to watch out for, I'll go through them with Liv and Georgie when they get up here, but Hope Rogers, the American international prop, a revelation since she has come over to the southwest of England. 5 tries in just 7 appearances, some turnover that and some strike rate. Bristol Bears though, second in the league, and obviously they'll be back here against the Chiefs, who are third, for that huge round 18 clash at the end of the season. They qualified in second place from their group with a 53-10 victory over DMP Durham Sharks in the final round, securing their passage through to this stage. But also a loss of that will be down to that 31-12 victory against Harlequins, which is a fantastic performance from the Bears. 13 players on international duty for Bristol, and a couple of players, notably Jenny Hesketh, out injured. Means that competition rules, they're only able, to actually name 20 players for this one. They've made a couple of changes. Lily Stoker-Goddard is back in on the left wing, as is England under-20 Delaney Burns, who has been some player for them in the engine room this season. Hannah West has been their starting hooker all season in the Premiership, and is indeed their top league try scorer with 11 tries. She starts at tight head prop for them today. And Lily Stoker-Goddard, who I mentioned, and Holly Cunningham in the second row. No strangers to this part of the country, having played at Exeter University with a number of today's Exeter Chiefs side, which will be again co-captained by Poppy Leach and Kate Zachary. I can see Liv and Georgie just finishing their top-ups below me. Hopefully they won't be too long until they get up here, so you don't have to listen to just me for this one. But let's just quickly go back through the Chiefs' route to the semi-final for you. Then it all started back in back last year against Sale Sharks at Haywood Road, a 19-0 victory in atrocious conditions, pouring rain, and 2 tries that day for Maisie Allen, her first 2 tries in a Chiefs shirt. They backed that up the following week at home against Worcester Warriors at a fantastic 34-14 victory. And that was pretty much down to an electric first half display that saw the side go 27 points clear at one point. League priorities obviously then took precedence for all clubs, and the Chiefs returned to cup action against Loughborough Lightning 3 weeks ago. It's a slow start against a brave and determined Loughborough Lightning side. Eventually though, the Chiefs powered home for a 47-15 victory. 2 tries that day for Ebony Jeffries as well. She's now scored 10 tries for the Chiefs in her career. And Patricia Garcia on the bench today. But if she comes on, any score from Garcia will take her past a century of points in an Exeter Chiefs jersey. Currently sitting tantalisingly close to that number on 99 points. I mentioned that university flavour a second ago then, and obviously with Holly Cunningham and Lily Stoker-Goddard on the Bristol Bears team. The Exeter Chiefs team, Nancy McGillivray, Flo Robinson, Merrin Doige, all currently university students, and what of Merrin Doige, the only player in this Chiefs squad to have played in every single competitive game for the Chiefs. She started at fullback in that first ever game for the side away at the Alpas Arena, and starts at fullback again today, having been training with England Sevens in recent weeks. Janine Desivo switches to the right wing from the left, with Olivia Jones coming in to the side. Scored that wonderful try away against Loughborough Lightning at Franklin's Gardens. That beautiful pass from Kaneko Kobayashi as well. You can hear the music below me now starting to ramp up, and I'll just run you through that full Bristol team then. Back 3 of Ella Loverbond, Kiara Martin and Stoker-Goddard in the centres, Joe Smith and Phoebe Murray. Phoebe Murray has been a fantastic player this season for the Bears. And then at half back it's the 2 Lucies, Burgess captain in today from scrum half, and Skuse. And up front, talked about Hannah West shifting from hooker to tight head prop. Simi Pam, what a player she is and what a player she has been. Starts at loose hip with Holly Phillips at hooker. Second row pairing then Burns and Cunningham, and then a back row of Herring, Mays, Lockwood. On the bench, as I said, only 5 players for the Bears. That's all that they are allowed and able to name for this one. 2 props, Jess Sprague and trying to kill another England under-20s player. Did a sterling job for the side whilst Simi Pam was out injured. Marlo Boyd, second row at 18, and then Ellie Lewis and Lauren Powell, the other 2 players on the bench. I know I keep saying it, what a day for rugby, but it's fantastic to see the crowd below us. This main stand here at Sandy Park, probably the fullest I've seen it since I've been here. And a huge ovation then for the last few Chiefs players as they make their way off the pitch. Hopefully Liv and Georgie will be able to come up and join me in a second. The atmosphere building here though at Sandy Park, and can't wait for this one. Some atmosphere at Sandy Park, as I keep saying. Admittedly, I'm trying to fill the airwaves a little bit until the 2 players are able to come up and join me. The Bristol Bears bench then making their way out underneath me. Their route to this stage then, it didn't start well for the Bears, a 31-12 defeat to Gloucester Hartpury, but since then they have been really motoring in this competition. A 33-10 victory over Wasps, then that 31-12 win over Quins, and that 53-10 victory over DMP, as I said. And here come the Bears then, led out by Lucy Burgess. Huge ovation for Dave Ward's side. And there are the Chiefs then, led out by Poppy Leach. Listen to that roar. Liv Churcher has come up and joined me. I've learnt my lesson from last time. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to get your breath back. That ovation there for the Chiefs then was absolutely fantastic. Today's officials then, referee Harry Groves, assisted by Nick Marshall and Grant Mossford. We wait for the whistle of the referee, and I'm just going to step back and let you hear the roar as the game gets underway here at Sandy Park. Not the start that the Chiefs would have wanted there. Bouncing over the head of Kate Zachary, but Linda van der Velden tidies up nicely. It's a strong start from the Bears. Liv, I think you've got your breath back now, hopefully.
Just about.
Obviously, you've been down there again, a bit like you were for that Lightning game, a great chase there from Desevo. You've been in the camp as well. What's the feeling like in the group? It's a huge game today.
Yeah, absolutely massive, and I think it makes it even bigger because it is against Bears, which is always a local derby for us. There was a great buzz around this morning, and we're really here for it. I think Bears haven't been here for a while now, and so we really got to show them what Sandy Park's all about.
Oh, you say that the last time Bristol Bears were here was round 2 of last season. And the Bears actually are leading the head-to-head at the moment, 2-1 between the sides. That game here was a 24-22 victory for the Bears, just Chiefs' second match of their time as a fully fledged side, and look at how far the group have come since. Good start from the Bears so far, they're holding possession. Van der Velden, note, fantastic tackle from the Dutch second row. The Chiefs without their Canadian contingent today as well. That's a huge shot there in the middle of the park. And an opportunity then for the Chiefs to get a first attacking opportunity. I said it whilst I was admittedly waffling a little bit, waiting for you to get up here, but the atmosphere here today, it's fantastic. I don't think I've seen Sandy Park more packed than this.
No, yeah, it's great. All of our fans have come out for the occasion. We've got a great community here in Exeter, so I think that will definitely give us an extra bit of support today.
Fantastic bank holiday weekend for it as well. And Flo Robinson then, first scrum for the Chiefs. Robinson back in at scrum half, played scrum half and fly half for England under-20s recently. That's a great first scrum from the Chiefs then, and Zachary sets off, bursts through the first tackle. Kate Zachary, she's through, she's one-on-one with the fullback. It's Kate Zachary, is this going to be an unbelievable score? It is, it is. Captain fantastic, Captain America, 19 tries in an Exeter Chiefs shirt. And Liv, that's what she does best, and what a start that was.
Yeah, absolutely amazing from Kate. We know what she's like in a centre field scrum. We saw it at King's Home, we've seen it again today. She runs just like a back. She's so quick and so powerful that once you let her going, you've not got much hope of stopping her.
The perfect start then for the Chiefs. You say there's no stopping Kate Zachary, there really isn't. 19 tries now for the club. As I said, she's played all bar 2 games for the Chiefs. And obviously the break from Zachary was fantastic as Meg Foster lines this conversion up as well, but a real statement from the pack there of that first scrum as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing we were looking to do today was just be dominant from the start, show them what we're about, and then try and get it on top early, and that's exactly what we've done.
Lovely kick then from Meg Foster. Gabby Cantorna back in the side, but Foster then still content to take the kicking duties, and with a strike like that, it's little wonder why. And after that slightly ropey, should we say, first restart from a Chiefs perspective, then pressure on now to make sure that they get a clean exit here and keep up at what's been a perfect start. Bounces again. Detavo has to chase and goes over the top of Phoebe Murray, but she eventually manages to get her to ground. Laura Delgado then straight into Simi Pam. I can hear Dave Ward below me already. Great take there in the air from Loverbond. She's eventually forced to ground just outside the Chiefs' 22. Huge shot there, and that one's got the crowd cheering. Skuse, though, feeds the ball on. Get busy, the call below us again from Dave Ward, and Simi Pam adding her weight into that one, as is Alice Lockwood. But it's great defence from the Chiefs. And they'll be pleased with that defensive set. They won't be too pleased with the restart again, I'd imagine. But that, again, perfect way of responding to it. And now another chance for that front row trio. Hope Rogers, Clara Nilsson, Laura Delgado, to show what they can do. A big day for Clara Nilsson as well today. Obviously Bristol Bears captain last season. Now in Chiefs colours. Back in the city where she was at university, hoping to guide her side to a final. That's another huge, huge scrum by the Chiefs. And there's only one thing the referee can do there with the penalty. A warm round of applause from the crowd. Flo Robinson then just slowing things down a little bit. Taking it quickly though, a tap and go, and straight to Rogers. Straight through Simi Pam, and she's still going. Hope Rogers still motoring forwards up to the halfway line. There's a bulldozing carry there from the loose head, and Van der Velden then carries hard, breaks the first tackle, breaks the second tackle, eventually hauled to ground by Jenny Herring. And Leach to Foster to Cantorna. There is space, but Cantorna's gone through. Tries to get the ball away to Zachary. She picks it up, and Kobayashi, and there's space here. It goes straight to Jones. Liv Jones backs herself on the outside, hauled down just inside the Bears 22. She's done well to stay in play there. And there's Zachary again. pressing, probing just outside the 22 here, and they go down the blind. Back to Jones. Disappointment for the Chiefs though, but Bears penalty, and they needed that. They just need to get a little but of possession and just a sniff of an opportunity here. It's been all Chiefs so far.
Yeah, that was a great set of running rugby from Chiefs. I think one thing that we did look at of Bristol was that their centres like to fly up in defence, and so that's great heads-up rugby from Gabby Cantona in the centres to identify that and then just run the line instead of giving it.
Cantona as well, then obviously been out for so much of this season. Only going to get better the more she gets back into match fitness for the Chiefs. What a player she has been. Great touch finder though from the Bears. And pressure then from Nielsen on Skuse. She's done very well there to break through. That looks like Daisy Mays there with the carry. Chiefs has got to be careful here, make sure they stay on side. There's a knock on in midfield then, and Delgado comes round the corner. Bashes over Joe Smith. No advantage coming though, a little bit messy. Chiefs scrum there on halfway. Obviously disappointment there for Holly Phillips to spill that ball forward, but I've seen the intensity in that Chiefs defence in those moments as well there.
Yeah, exactly. Really dominant up front today. I think it'll be interesting to see how this scrum goes for us. First one was very dominant, but the likes of Simi Pam and Hannah West in the front row for Bristol, it should be a great battle up front.
Really should, and we touched on it as well. Hannah West, obviously normally a hooker, playing on the tight head today. Equally adept at both positions. And that's a much better scrum from the Bears. Zachary has to go searching for it, which she does. Pulled to ground then by Jenny Herring. And Hope Rogers into Simi Pam again, through Simi Pam. Again, you get the impression that is going to be one of the matchups of the day. Detevo then. Foster looks to release her, but it's gone forwards. And the Bears then, if they want it, there is space here, but Delaney Burns content just to carry that one into contact. And Simi Pam again then pops up at first receiver, tries to step Rogers, pulled to ground by the American, no advantage coming, and we'll come back to that scrum for the Bears.
Yeah, I think we've done well to get Simi down early because, as we have seen throughout the season, she is an incredibly strong carrier who has got some serious pace for a front rower. So I think we're going to have to be wary of her today when she's carrying.
She really does, and I suppose it's a little bit unusual to say you're looking forward to seeing the matchup between two Leasehead props in open play rather than at scrum time, but both Simi Pam and Hope Rogers, unbelievable operators, obviously in their trade, but in open play as well. Unbelievable footwork, unbelievable turns of pace as well. Yeah,
exactly. It's not something you tend to see from front row players, but yeah, we've seen Hope carrying a few times into Simi today so far, and Hope's come out on top. But I think Simi, if she goes lower with those tackles, it's going to be a really interesting game between them both.
And almost 10 minutes in, the first time we've really been able to pop up for breath. Both packs probably wanting to get a breather themselves, just content to have one or two resets of this scrum. And the Bears then have loaded this side by the main grandstand. Just Joe Smith and Kiara Martin on that far side. Chiefs again look to get themselves in amongst it at the scrum, but that's a lot better from the Bears. Skuse then will look to send this one as deep into Chiefs territory as she can.
That's a very good kick from the centre of the field. To be able to make that distance, I think, is very impressive. And now they've put themselves in a really good position. We know how strong Bears are at mauling, so I think they're in a really good position here to get into our 22 and start their real attacking.
It was really good, although I have to say I feel a little bit sorry for the linesman on this side. Skuse looked to kick this way. I saw him set off at a rate of knots, and then she changed her mind and went towards that new stand over on the side by the motorway. It's a great line out from the Bears, straight out the back. That is some shot from Maisie Allen. And Skuse then out the back. Phoebe Murray, Loverbond. Loverbond goes through, tackled by Desivo. Great work initially there from the Bears. Quick balls, what they needed, and there's Cunningham with the carry straight into Ebony Jeffries, former university teammates. Of course, those two back-to-back Bucks National Championship victories. And Delaney Burns with the carry in midfield. Burgess then just marshalling her troops and out to Skuse again. And that one's not gone to plan for the Bears. It's gone backwards though, picked up by Martin. Dave Ward again, then you can hear him screaming for Simi Pan to get back into the shape. They want her on the ball as much as they can. Burns then almost got that one away there, but another penalty against the Chiefs. And after that really fast start, the Bears have grown into this game, and the penalties just starting to mount a little bit here for Exeter.
Yeah, I think we've been really good in contact, but sometimes we have lost our discipline, and I think that's something that we need to try and calm down, because as I said earlier, Bears very dangerous with their mauls, and now they're in our 22, and it's a very dangerous position for us to be in.
Let's see what the Bears can do then. There's just going to be a brief stop in play here. Bears player stretching out, Laura Delgado just stretching out a little bit as well for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it's a very hot day today, so cramp will be at the max. We need to make sure that all the girls are keeping hydrated with hydration salts and just water, because I know, and I was literally on the pitch for 20 minutes and I am still incredibly hot.
I say, if you're in the crowd watching this one, or you're in your garden watching this one, beautiful, beautiful day for rugby. If you're on the pitch, maybe not quite as much.
It's 7th season.
Definitely is 7th season. There's a fair few players in this Chiefs squad who know a fair bit about their sevens as well. Meryn Doyle said in the pre-show he's been training with England sevens this week, but we'll focus back on the standard of the 15s game for this one, then with Bears with the line out, and you'd expect looking to set up a maul. That doesn't go to plan though for the Bears. Good work in the air there from the Chiefs. And now then the challenge is to get this one as far away from their 22 as they can. Robinson then sets herself for the box kick. Half charge down, it only goes as far as Burgess, and Burgess straight back into contact. And the Bears then straight back on the attack. Nielsen then comes round, but the referee has seen an offside there from the hooker. There's a penalty for the Bears, and Skuse then, after that first line out hadn't worked for her side, she's going to pump this one straight back into the corner. And Holly Phillips then will have another chance straight away.
Yeah, I think that's just going back to the discipline. Unlucky for Clara. I think she probably thought that the ball was out. But again, now we're in our 5 metre, and if this goes well for Bristol this time, it can be looking very dangerous for the Chiefs team.
Pressure on then now for Holly Phillips to get this one right, and she does. That's solid work there from the Bears. Initial defence from the Chiefs is good, with the Bears now starting to creep forwards. Burgess searching for the ball. Skuse, little chip through, and Phoebe Murray just doesn't quite have the legs to get there. But another infringement from the Chiefs, this time at the maul.
I think that's a great idea from Bears. I think one thing that Sandy Park is known for is the very, very big dead ball. So nudges through can be very effective here, and they had the penalty advantage. So now they just get to reset and go again.
And with Phoebe Murray there as well in that 12 channel. Was right up until Christmas top try scorer in the Premier 15s. Knows her way to the try line, and yeah, like you said, Bears showing a good bit of variety here as well. See, they've got that mauling game, but that one though doesn't go right for them, not straight, and a huge let off for the Chiefs, and a warm round of applause from the crowd. And pressure again now then on the scrum. I have to say, it's flown by. I remember looking down at my phone to check the live clock about, well, feels like 30 seconds ago, and we're only 9 minutes in. We're 17 minutes into the game now. And that's a good scrum from the Chiefs. Crabbing about a little bit. And they've gone down the blind to Liv Jones. Hauled down well, though, by Kiara Martin. Keeps herself in field well. That's a much, much better kick this time from Robinson. That's the perfect outcome for the Chiefs there with that knock-on in the air.
Yeah, I think when we get our box kicks right, they can be so effective. Kicking from 9 allows us to get a good connected chase in attack, well, defence, I guess, which then puts a lot of pressure on the receiver, which is what has happened there. They've knocked it on, and now we've retained possession, and we get another opportunity to attack.
It's something we talked about a little bit in that Loughborough game as well, with Gabby Cantona back in the side now. Kicking options all over the park for Chiefs. Robinson, Foster, Cantona, Doidge, then even on the bench, Brooke Bradley, Patricia Garcia, when they both get onto the field as well.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking in the warm-up today that we've got such a quality back line. It's a massive international team today, and so it's going to be very exciting when they can put together, and we've got options, as you said, all over the field.
Bears then trying their best to make a nuisance of themselves at scrum time, but Kate Zachary then bursts free, bursts away, beautiful ball out to Liv Jones. Liv Jones cuts back in field again, good decision from the wing. And Hope Rogers then pops up at first receiver. There's Foster to Kobayashi. Kobayashi cuts back inside, breaks through the first tackle, muscles her way to ground, and Chiefs back on the front foot again after a lot of defending. Really clever idea there from Foster, but it just bounces over the head of Detavo. Unfortunate there for Chiefs, and obviously been listening to us up here talking about those kicking threats, because that one almost came off if it wasn't for that old cliche, the bounce of a rugby ball.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Meg. She's just scuffed it a bit, but it's great to see the initiative to go for the crossfield even when there's no penalty advantage. Just really trying to keep Bears on their toes and make sure they don't know what's coming next.
Obviously, this isn't the only semi-final going on today. Harlequins taking on Worcester Warriors as well. If you don't want to know the score in that one, then mute me for the next 5 seconds. But 18 minutes in, that one tight and tense as well. It's 0-0 at the moment at Surrey Sports Park. Good work there from Daisy Mays to get herself to ground eventually for the Bears. And there's Skuse, and Murray fizzes it wide. Good work there from Loverbond. Jones was all over her like a rash there. And Skuse again looking to feed Simi Pam. Brilliantly taken over the head by Pam. And there is space here for the Bears if they can see it. Mays then cuts back inside. Cunningham then with the carry for her side. Burgess brings it back towards the main stand. Good tackle from Kobayashi. And another penalty off feet, the call. from the referee. Off feet the call from Dave Ward below me as well, screaming that one to make sure that Burgess let the referee know. And Skuse again then with a cannon of a right boot. Phillips again then will be hoping to have a bit more success with the line out here. Dave Ward, head coach, obviously formerly a hooker himself in his playing days. So this is obviously an area that the Bears will be targeting. But it doesn't go right for the Bears. An early lift, bit of confusion. And Zachary then lobs the ball over to Robinson, and from the free kick, Chiefs then are going to have a run. There's Robinson to Rogers. Great tackle on her from Cunningham. Probably the first time this afternoon that Rogers hasn't made meters after the initial contact. And Robinson again then to Foster. Nielsen pops up in midfield. Good tackle on her by Phoebe Murray, forcing her backwards. It's Kobayashi, beautiful ball to Liv Jones, and there's space here for the winger to exploit. Through Skuse and into the Bristol Bears half. And Leach then with the tip on to Nielsen. It's gone forwards. Chiefs, whenever they seem to get the ball at the moment, there seems to be a real buzz, but it's just not quite clicking on that second or third phase when they're looking to really exploit that gap they've worked. Yeah,
I think the initial phase is there. We had a great run from Liv, identification of the space from Kaneko, but as you said, yeah, it's just not coming together once we've... Oh, I've lost my words, sorry.
Just not quite clicking in that final play. A break in play here as well. The Bears player down, receiving treatment. So you say you've lost your words, Liv. In your defence, you have been warming up on the pitch and then sprinting it up here onto the gantry as well.
Yeah, my ginger hair does not bode well for me in the sun. I'm still bright red.
We've got a little bit of a stoppage talking about that, and I say it seems to that Chiefs have gone for a lovely summery look with the yellow for the subs today as well behind the posts. If they didn't want to stand out, tough luck, they're going to. They're saying that Bears have gone with bright orange as well. Time back on then from the referee. And once the errant water bottles are picked up off the pitch by the Bears water carriers, we'll get back underway with the scrum. Burgess then feeds into the scrum. Solid from both teams, and Skuse then plays the ball inside to Joe Smith. There's a little bit of uncertainty there on that call, but a lot more certainty on that line from Loverbond. And Bears then come round the corner to Delaney Burns, pulled to ground by Robinson. Herring then with the carry. Players look like they were going off their feet all over the place there. But we're playing on, and the Bears back in the Chiefs' half. And there's Phoebe Murray again at 12, and she's spotted space. Gets the ball away beautifully. Deutsch then almost managing to get the turnover for the Chiefs. But Bristol are away again. It's a big hit in midfield from Delgado and Zachary combining. I was going to say a hint of a forward pass there. Definite forward pass there. They're let off the Chiefs, although concern for them as well, with Hope Rogers down at the moment and in need of a bit of attention.
Yeah, I think Bristol were looking very dangerous there. They had a great speed of play, but Chiefs have done very well to keep up with it, especially in this heat. Everyone must be very glad that we've got a short water break now.
Hope Rogers then just down, receiving attention. Fingers crossed for the USA Eagle that she will be okay. Replacements on the bench for the Chiefs should they need them: Lizzie Hanlon and Michaela Roberts. Roberts started loosehead in that first ever game for the Chiefs against Gloucester Hartpury. Lizzie Hanlon has been pulling up trees this season for Exeter University. Fantastic season for their women's team, in fact for their women's club in general, to be brutally honest. But it looks like a sub has been called then for the Chiefs. Lizzie Hanlon making her way over. Hanlon then with an opportunity to come on for her fifth appearance for the Chiefs. But Hope Rogers then, that's a big loss if she is unable to continue for the Chiefs, and hopefully one that isn't a long-term one as well, with the crunch time coming at the end of the season.
Yeah, she's a tough old cookie, I'm sure. Yeah, you can see our S&C there. He's just said that she's all right, so back up on her feet.
Good to see for Hope Rogers. Lizzie Hanlon there on the sideline, giving her the applause. I think Hanlon will just stay in and around, just in case she is required. But as you say, Hope Rogers, there's only one way she's coming off here, and that's by force. She's not going to come off unless she desperately has to.
You can hear Susie down below shouting, "Let's go, Kate." So I think we can expect to see something from Kate Zachary here, picking at the back.
And interestingly for the Chiefs, Desevo and Jones have switched wings as well, and Zachary then penalty for the referee as the number 8 breaks away. The referee seeing that one a little bit late, but it is a penalty for Bristol, and that's another cannon of a boot from Skuse. It almost feels a little bit like deja vu.
Yeah, I think Chiefs have done very well so far at defending in our 22. I think Bears have been in there at least 4 or 5 times now and haven't come away with anything, so it's a great statement from us, but let's see if we can do it again now.
And pressure again then on this Bears line-out. Whilst the scrum's been functioning really well for them, the line-out hasn't quite. That's a clever little ball to Lucy Burgess, but she's then smacked backwards in the tackle. Delaney Burns then with the carry, and Burgess then quickly back into position, looking at this blind side again. And there's Phillips, good carry from the hooker, and Stoker Goddard then. A hint of crossing perhaps there for the Bears, but they carry on then through West. And Burgess then across the park. A penalty, though, for the Chiefs. Linda van der Velden getting the applause, getting the praise from her teammates. Bears penalised for holding on. And again, another let-off for Chiefs, but that defence has been absolutely superb.
Yeah, I think huge credits go out to our defence coach, Steve Sylvan. The amount of hours we spend just doing defence drills, I think, are really paying off on pitch, and you can see just how physical we've become as a team throughout the season.
With someone like Steve as well, obviously coming in mid-season, his first game watching, in fact, was that cup game against Worcester, and then came in after that on a full-time basis. But he's been a fantastic addition to the coaching team, and Susie Appleby, Duncan McNaughton, and Tommy Hayes before him as well. There's so much experience in this Chiefs coaching setup.
Yeah, 100%. I know Steve has come from a men's background, so he brings something different to our game that we hadn't had before. And I think all the girls were so happy that he joined, and yeah, he's really made us come on as a team.
And you can see a little bit of it there with that penalty from the maul. Bit of a daisy cutter of a pass to Emily Jeffries, and then a little bit of extras there on Flo Robinson from the Bears. And the referee's not happy with that one. He's calling over both captains and Holly Phillips as well. Warning then for both players on both sets.
Standard scrum halves there, just being a bit cheeky.
Definitely the standard scrum half, and I remember hearing it on a game I was watching a few weeks ago. Is it any wonder so many scrum halves end up going into refereeing as well? They seem to like to control the game when they're on the field as players.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Time off then for a Bears player down on the ground, and Hope Rogers again receiving a little bit more attention. Just a little bit of a silence comes over Sandy Park. And Chiefs penalty then, okay for everyone to continue. And Foster will look to put this one back into the Bears half. Good nudge there from the fly half, and very good catch from someone in the crowd there as well. Great to hear them in fine voice, and Clara Nielsen then directly below us. Just inside the Bears half then, lining this one up. That line out at the moment for the Chiefs, it's almost metronomic. And the maul gets going again. Nielsen cradling that one at the back. Rogers joins her. Rogers adds that extra weight. Robinson marshalling the troops, searches for the ball as she gets it now. Cantona, hard line from the USA international, pulled down. And Robinson then to Zachary, breaks through that first tackle. And Chiefs are still attacking. I don't know if the ref has seen it, but there's a Bears player that has stayed down and looks to be in some pain. And quite rightly, the referee stops the game there. That one looked pretty serious. Concern here, can't see who it is. But after that initial contact, still down on the ground. The Bears medics then are going to rightly take all the time that they need here. We saw there, though, we've seen it a couple of times within the space of 2 minutes, that Chiefs maul game as well. And we talk about the Bears driving game up front, going back to Steve Salvin as well. It's something that's really come on so much after Christmas as well.
Yeah, 100%. I know the girls in the forwards pack work endlessly on their maul game, and I know they don't enjoy it, but it clearly pays off when we're on the pitch. We saw it a couple of weeks ago when we played against Loughborough, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. Marched them back 50 metres. And so, yeah, it's definitely a massive strength of ours.
An applause then from around Sandy Park. The player back up on her feet. Referee then just having a few words with Molly Phillips. A little bit of a conference going on in the middle of the park then between Foster, Kobayashi and Cantona, and then Kobayashi jogs over to pass the message on to Liv Jones. I can see Canico's smile from up here even when she's in the middle of the field. There's such a happy, bubbly character.
Yeah, she never stops smiling. It's quite nice, but sometimes I just don't understand why she's smiling. But if you're having a bad day, just turn to Canico and she'll definitely cheer you up.
Canico Kobayashi then obviously was injured after making such a bright start to her Exeter Chiefs career, but she's come back at some pace and some form as well, and that is going to be a change for the Bears. Warm round of applause as Marlo Boyd makes her way onto the field. And it's Delaney Burns making her way off. Good to see her, most importantly, making her own way off. Ice pack on her forehead though. But a warm round of applause, and that's really good to see. Chiefs scrum them, and they've all lined up this side of the field, and that is going at a rate of knots. Surely there's a penalty advantage coming. There it is, and now Robinson plays it. Cantona to Kobayashi, hard line, brilliant line for Kobayashi, runs away from her defence, pulled down 5 metres short. Chiefs are still on the attack. Poppy Leach unable to hold on to it. A bit of a bullet of a pass, you have to say. We'll come back though for that scrum penalty. And Kobayashi was smiling before, she's going to be smiling now after that break.
Yeah, that was great control at the back of the scrum from Kate. You couldn't really expect anything else from a player of her class, and then a great line from Kaneko to just burst through the Bears' defensive line.
Really good work, and see the pass didn't go to hand, but you can see the waves of Chiefs attackers behind her trying to catch up with the play. Foster though sends this one into touch. And after what feels like a lifetime, Exeter back down in that Bears 22 now, and an opportunity for them.
Yeah, I think a couple of minutes before half-time, 7-0 up. It'd be really good for Chiefs if we could get a few more points on the board here. Just be really secure going into half-time and try and put down the Bears' heads.
First part then works for the Chiefs, and that maul then starting to trundle forwards again. It was crabbing sideways, but it's been re-energised here, and it's powered up. It's a metre short of the line. Chiefs then in that far corner, pressing, probing, looking for the try. Have they got the try? Yes, they have. And it's Hope Rogers who goes over. And after a couple of concerns about whether or what fitness state she was in earlier, there's obviously no doubt about that now. That's what Hope Rogers does. 6 tries, 8 games, some return.
Yeah, no, exactly. Going back to what we were saying about her earlier, she's just such a powerful player, and when she gets that low, that close to the try line, it's very hard to stop her.
And watching this game so far, that's what has been the difference from up here, has been that clinical edge. The Bears have had those opportunities. They've played really well. They've put themselves into the right parts of the field, but it's that clinical edge from the Chiefs. It's that 2 visits now to the 22 and 2 tries.
Yeah, I think between 22s, our handling hasn't always been there, but whenever we've entered their 22, our mistakes have been at the minimum. So hopefully going in the second half, we can keep that the same, but maybe go in a few more times. And I think the Bears will definitely be looking to convert the opportunities that they've made for themselves.
Foster then will line up the conversion. Not a bad nudge from Foster. In fact, it's a very, very good nudge from Foster, and the Chiefs are up to 14 points. With just over half an hour on the game clock. We'll ignore the clock in the stands. That one was still running whilst Delaney Burns was down receiving treatment. Chiefs are 14 points up, and that's a much better restart. Zachary then takes that one over her head and charges away. Penalty though for the Bears, and you can hear Dave Ward shout yes below me. He's happy with that one.
Yeah, you could just see Ebony Jeffries there trying to call the forwards round the corner, because even the slightest misshape in a forward spear, and that's what happens. It just lets the opposition get over the ball really quickly, and there's not a lot you can do about it. Massive attacking opportunity here for Bears. I think clock's almost dead, so they'll really need to get some points for this. Go into half-time on the up, really lift their heads a bit.
That's the thing, isn't it? Obviously, the Bears have had their chances. Chiefs have taken both of theirs, but one try here with the clock ticking up towards half-time. I'll say commentators curse now. That would have changed the momentum, but that's some leap from Ebony Jeffries there to steal that one.
Yeah, exactly. What a time to do it.
Robinson then will set this one up. Straight down the throat of Loverbond, but she's unable to take it. And it'll be a Chiefs scrum then, a good outcome then off that kick from Robinson.
Yeah, I think a lot of pressure on Ella there. She's usually a player in the centres, but she's playing at fullback today, so a position that she's not used to. So the chase put on from the Chiefs there would have put her under a lot of pressure to take that ball.
Flo Robinson then just bouncing the ball around before she puts it into the scrum. It's a solid scrum from both teams. Zachary then just biding her time, and she will go down the blind. Cuts back inside. She's marshalled and tackled well though by Herring. And Delgado then calls for the ball, runs straight into the front row union there. Pam and Phillips pulling her to ground. And Robinson now then content just to put this one up in the air and test Loverbond out again. And again, it comes back for the Chiefs. Great pressure on Loverbond from Jones. And it's intercepted by Phoebe Murray. Chiefs, though, saved by the advantage. You can see Phoebe Murray sniffing that one from the moment that the pass left Foster's hands.
Yeah, that was a very obvious pass and a very long one, which when you're in this area of the pitch, you shouldn't be throwing that kind of pass. And Phoebe Murray's done well to read it, but very lucky that we had the scrum advantage.
We'll say that Meg Foster knew that the advantage was still there with that pass.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Looking at it here as well, you could almost see that the eyes just bulge with, oh my God, what have I done? The moment that left her hands. But Chiefs then setting themselves from the scrum, and Zachary again happy to go off the base. Out to Jones. Jones has been stripped in the tackle by Stoger Goddard. Brilliant strength there from the Bears left wing. And Marlo Boyd then runs into contact, pulled down by Delgado. Skuse out to Holly Phillips. And Burgess then. Skuse again. Reloading really quickly. That's a lovely line as well. Fantastic tackle that needed to be made. Excuse just out of position at the moment though, so Joe Smith has to step in at first receiver. And Hannah West then shores it up with that carry in the middle of the park for the Bears, and Skuse back in position now. Lockwood though hit hard and hit backwards, and another huge hit there from Gabby Cantorna, this time on Jenny Herring. Shots flying in at the moment from the Chiefs. It's Hope Rogers there. Jeffries almost manages to get her hands to that one. Unfortunate there for the Chiefs, and that's one apiece now then for both tens with that awkwardness on the pass.
Yeah. Maisie Allen's done very well there to read that pass. Just couldn't quite hold on to it. She was at full stretch. But yeah, good recognition of it, and Bears have now got an opportunity to attack, which I think might be near enough the last play of the game.
Looks like it. I've got a live clock running up here, and I make it just over 38 minutes, so not too long left of this one, and half-time near enough upon us in the other game as well. It's a huge scrum from the Chiefs. And Cantorna then puts boot to ball, and that's one for Olivia Jones to chase. Liv Jones picks it up. Has she got the pace? She's pulled down 5 metres short. The Chiefs, though, has that one gone forwards? No, says the referee, and Zachary picks it up. And it's a penalty, not releasing. And time off with another Bears player down and in some discomfort.
Yeah, I think that was an incredible set of play there from Chiefs to be able to go from defending a scrum to attack like that. Gabby noticing the space in the backfield, communicating with her winger, and Liv Jones running onto it at some pace. But unfortunately, yeah, Kate Zachary just not releasing there, which is what happens when you try and play really quickly. You don't necessarily have the support with you. But still, pressure back onto Bears. They're in their 5 metre and now have to look to exit.
I have to say, perhaps slightly apt. It looked to me like the ball had been lost forward at the base of that ruck as well, as Chiefs were trying to play. But like you said, Liv, right at the end of this half, Exeter in the position they want to be in, Bears knowing if they want to get back into it before half-time, they've got to go from deep. And I was going to give you an update on that other game. I'll do that now. It's 0-0 with the clock in the red between Harlequins and Worcester. Tight and tense there at Surrey Sports Park. The Bears penalty then, and Skew says, thank you very much, that's enough of that one for me. And it's half-time here at Sandy Park. Exeter Chiefs then a rampant start from Kate Zachary. A whole host of defensive work that they had to do. And then attacking at pace, taking the opportunity, and some try there, one for the front row Union. Hope Rogers going over. And it's Exeter Chiefs 14, Bristol Bears 0 at the break. We're going to take a little break ourselves, and we'll see you for the second half. Let's chat some crowd. Welcome back then to Sandy Park. Second half will be getting underway in a couple of moments once we have finished on the pitch with Derek the Otter. Strong work there from everybody on the pitch.
Tell you what, I thought it would be hot for the rugby players, but imagine wearing an otter suit and chasing girls around the pitch.
I mean, credit to him. He has been running about that pitch for the best part of the last 10 minutes. And as the Bears make their way back out onto the field, 40 minutes then to decide a place in the final. And here they come then, the Exeter Chiefs, Poppy Leach leads the side back out onto the field. Officials there making their way back out as well. And Meg Foster will get us back underway for the second half. Exeter Chiefs 14-0 up. A place in the final up for grabs. Foster then takes her time, steadies herself, and we're back underway at Sandy Park. It's obviously got to be something to do with that 22, because in the first half it was the Chiefs watching the bobbling ball. This time it was the Bears. They clear well though, but Doidge bursts, barrels, and she's up into that Bears 22. Huge carry from the fullback. Leach tips it onto Delgado. Van der Velden bursts through the first tackle again, pumps the legs. Charged down though, and hacked on by Jo Smith, and she goes tearing after it. Gabby Cantorna has to track back, get that one back underway and under control. Great hands from Maisie Allen. Similarly great hands from Poppy Leach as well. But there was a forward pass, and that's a great outcome for the Bears at the start of this second half.
Yeah, I think great initial energy there from the Chiefs, led by a great run from Marion. Tried something with the grubber through, didn't quite work, and Bears then got straight back on top of us, and now they're the ones in a strong attacking position.
And fair play to Jo Smith as well, because Olivia Jones and Gabby Cantorna are no slouches. Good pace there to get over there and cause that chaos. Scrum then for the Bears. Just that one change so far for either side. Marlo Boyd on for Delaney Burns. That's a huge drive then from the Chiefs, and they've driven straight over again, drawn the penalty advantage, taken the penalty advantage. Robinson thought about taking quickly. Daisy Mays decided to give her a hug, slow it down a little bit. Perhaps just wanted to say hello as well. But Meg Foster then will pump this one into Bears territory. That's a superb nudge from the fly half.
Yeah, I think so far this half, Chiefs have made a massive statement with their physicality up front, starting with the first few phases of play and then backing it up with that scrum there.
There's a real renewed energy about them as well, coming back out here as well. Leach as well. Who else but Poppy Leach to take that ball, and the Chiefs are off again with the maul. Going sideways, but now it starts to go forward. Clara Nielsen has her hands on it. And still, and eventually wrestled to ground. Bristol have done well to disrupt that. And Robinson to Leach. Carries through Daisy Mays. And Robinson then to Delgado. Just a G up from Robinson, telling her pack to get round the corner, make the carry, and there's Van der Velden arriving. Simi Pam with the tackle. And Robinson then to Maisie Allen. Maisie Allen offloads to Ebony Jeffries. Back rows combining. They're 5 metres out now. Kate Zachary. Bears trying to slow this down, trying to disrupt it. As Cantorna carries hard through. Simi Pam again has to make the tackle. Robinson wants somebody to go onto this one at pace. Maisie Allen puts her hand up, says, I'll do that job for you. But it's a penalty for Bristol. In at the side at the breakdown. And disappointment there for the Chiefs after a fantastic initial surge.
Yeah, I think there was just a bit of confusion there with our structure and our shape, which is a shame because we were in a great position. Maisie Allen making the break with a great change of pace. She's such a fast player and so powerful. But yeah, as I said, just unlucky.
Bears then. Van der Velde manages to disrupt, but loses the ball. And with the Bears still pressing and probing, and Poppy Leach holding on to Daisy Mays for dear life. And the ball's out, and it's a penalty for the Chiefs. Brilliant work from Clara Nielsen. Lucy Burgess initially didn't like it, but then the referee has changed his mind. It's a Bears penalty. Did say initially that the ball was out. And Skuse then sends this one as far down the field as he can. Flo Robinson down there, almost trying to use the assistant referee as a sun shield there as she looked to see where the ball was coming out of the sky from. That's a great kick from Skuse, and Bears then back where they need to be, let alone want to be. There's a knock-on from the Chiefs as they look to try and snaffle back possession. And the Bears then attacking at pace. There's no advantage coming. We'll come back for the knock-on. There's a break in play then with Poppy Leach down and winded. Mentioned her name several times today, mentioned her name so many times this season. Leads from the front. Does Poppy Leach. Head coach at Exeter University as well, and unbelievable player, unbelievable coach, but unbelievable person.
Yeah, 100%. I think talking about leaders, she is definitely a leader. I know for the uni girls, she's an absolutely amazing coach, and you can just tell by where they are in the league. And for us, she captains so well. She leads from the front and is a great inspiration to all the younger players like myself.
Really is fantastic. I remember before a women's university match that I went and watched a couple of weeks ago, chatted with Poppy 5 minutes before the game, and I learnt more in 5 minutes from chatting to Poppy than I've learnt in 16 years of playing and watching the game.
Yeah, no, she's such a knowledgeable player. Like, if you ever have a question in training, you know that backs or forwards, she'll know the answer.
Good to see Poppy Leach back up on her feet. Now, I've just seen a number pop up on my phone as well. 1,191 people here at Sandy Park today for this match. Huge attendance for today's semi-final. A huge thank you to everybody that's here at Sandy Park. A huge thank you to all of you that are watching on the stream as well. But there's still plenty of time in this match. And the Bears go for the scrum, but again the Chiefs are all over them. It bounces out the back, and Burgess has to mop it up as best as she can. Ebony Jeffries was all over her there. And then there's Jeffries again causing chaos at the breakdown. And it's gone forward in the tackle. Huge scrum from the Chiefs. Huge defensive set from the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think Burgess has initially done very well to pick that up cleanly. It's very hard to pick up a bobbling ball at the back of a scrum. But Emily Jeffries was just straight on top of her, and there was a nuisance at the breakdown. She's got such a high work rate.
Huge work rate in that back row, Ebony Jeffries. Those of you that were watching that Loughborough Lightning game at home in the league before Christmas will remember that try under the post, that unbelievable defensive performance from the flanker as well. Susie Appleby saying she believed at the time she was the best flanker in England. That's a better scrum from the Bears though, and Zachary has to pick it up off the base and feed Cantona. Carries hard and straight into Burgess, and Burgess and Skuse in the end eventually managed to pull her to ground. And there's Foster, ball doesn't quite link up with Desevo, and Delgado tidies up rather. It's gone backwards, says the referee, once I get the correct words out of my mouth. And there's Poppy Leach again with the carry. And it's a penalty for the Chiefs, not rolling away. And Robinson then wants to inject some pace into this game, and off she goes quickly. Cantona, Allen, Zachary, but it's gone forwards. The pass has gone forwards from the Chiefs. You can just see a wry smile there from Hope Rogers. If that pass had gone straight to her, she knew she was going to be away there.
Yeah, I think that was awesome handling from our back row. It shows that not just backs can have good hands, but yeah, unfortunate that it just went forwards.
Poppy Leach then quickly tying up her shoelace and then straight back into this one. The pressure really is on the Bears at scrum time now, especially on their own feed. And the Chiefs start to go forwards again. It's popped out the side, and Jeffries then is all over Burgess again. There's a penalty though for Bristol. Chiefs straight off their feet at the breakdown in their hurry to try and win the ball back. And again, it's just that second part at the moment for the Chiefs. They're excited. They're making an absolute nuisance of themselves at scrum time at the breakdown. It's just showing that composure once they get the ball coming back their way to not concede anything. Phillips then to throw in for the Bears. As the Chiefs faithful are in fine voice, and that's really clever from Pam through to Burgess. And that ball though is juggling around, it's gone backwards, and Maisie Allen is there to tidy up and send the Bears back 10 metres or so. Promising attacking position, but they've got to reset from deep now. Skuse, and they're playing the ball wide again. That's a lovely pass out to Loverbond, and Loverbond breaks free, offload, doesn't quite connect with a hand, but it's gone backwards and it's mopped up well. Marlo Boyd carries hard. Skuse looking for the openings, looking for the space. And again, Skuse then. Daisy Mays hit hard, and a penalty for the Chiefs. And I'll tell you what, certainly in the scrums, but especially at the breakdown, Clara Nilsson's having some game today in a Chiefs shirt. Foster then will line this one up. Hasn't found touch though. And Loverbond goes sprinting back after it. Desevo's there to put the pressure on. And Robinson then tries to control it with the boot. Didn't come off a boot in the end though. Perhaps fortunate for Chiefs there, because I thought it did. But it'll be an Exeter line out. Change then for the Bears as well, trying to kill coming on for Simi Pam. And there's now a little bit of a debate at the moment, and eventually the officials come to the right decision. It is a Bristol line out. Leach tries her best to steal that one. The pass then, May is unable to hold again, but it has gone backwards. And Marlowe Boyd has to mop up, has to tidy up. Van der Velden is all over that one. And she's come away with the ball as Linda van der Velden offloads to Hope Rogers. Hope Rogers feeds Janine Detevo. Detevo, she's 2 metres out, 3 metres out, got to stay in field, and she does. And Robinson to van der Velden, who started it with that rip. Has she got it down? Hell. They're not sure. Officials then are going to have a conversation about this one. Linda van der Velden, though, what a rip and what a carry from the Dutch woman. Has she then managed to complete her fine work and get the ball down? Yes, she has. It's a third try for the Chiefs. And it's Linda van der Velden who keeps the score ticking over. And you can see the cheers there, the congratulations for the second row. That was just fantastic play all round.
Yeah, I think that's a massive team try. Janine down the wing is always so strong, so powerful. And then just the speed to keep going, the support from Linda to then get over the line.
And there's a bit of a party atmosphere now at Sandy Park, with the music ringing around the stadium. And Foster then looking to keep herself at 100% off the tee so far this afternoon. Oh, so unlucky there for Foster. Woodwork denies her from what would have been a brilliant conversion, but Exeter Chiefs then are up to 19 points. The referee then, there is going to be a change, and Patricia Garcia then, huge ovation for the Spaniard as she replaces Meg Foster. Bears though managed to get the ball back, and they need a score. They need something, and quickly here. Do the Bears, but it's come away on the Chiefs side. And Ebony Jeffries thought about the pass, then looked in front of her and thought, no, I fancy the contact. And why not? And there's a kick through there. Tidied up nicely. Pulled down to ground though, and huge work over the ball by Hope Rogers. Penalty for Chiefs, and Liv, I can see you fist pumping and celebrating that one. Huge work there from Hope.
Yeah, exactly. The work rate on and off the ball has just been incredible today. It was a great kick from Patsy. They only had one person in the backfield, and then just the work rate off the ball to chase that.
And Garcia then taking over the kicking duties. Brilliant nudge from the Spaniard, and the Chiefs back where they want to be, back deep in that Bears territory. Let's see what they can do here. Hunting a fourth try at Sandy Park. First part goes well eventually. And the Chiefs then mauling their way forward, starting to surge, starting to question, heave the call from the crowd. They're going again. It looks like Maisie Allen, who's got her hands on the ball. Chiefs a metre out, and they're down. Unbelievable score from the pack. Huh? And after that brilliant initial drive and initial work, eventually it's Clara Nielsen who crashes over for the 4th try of the afternoon for Exeter. And you have to say her performance has deserved that.
Yeah, 100%. I think she's worked so hard today. She's got so many turnovers and she's done really well for the team. It was a good initial shove there from Bears, but Chiefs did well to hold on to that and work through to the try.
I'm just going to take a minute here and let Garcia's kick-in do the talking, because hopefully, should the Spaniard slot this, she will join Gabby Cantorna as the only Exeter players to go past 100 points, currently sitting on 99. And was there any doubt about that? Patricia Garcia then, 2 points on the day, 26 points for Chiefs on the day, but 101 points in a Chiefs jersey for Patricia Garcia.
I think that's thoroughly deserved. I can speak for probably the whole team. She is such a leader, so good on and off the field, and so, yeah, well deserved from her.
Tied it up nicely by Maisie Allen, and she's straight into it, straight through the first tackle. Chiefs then, Zachary looking, probing, pressing. And Allen again is busy at the moment, the young flanker. Desevo, huge fend from the wing, and Desevo, another huge fend, and eventually Lucy Burgess, huge credit to the scrum half, sticking with her, but Hope Rogers now takes it on herself. Great presentation from the prop, and Desevo is there to tidy up and play scrum half. There's Leach now, again still carrying, and the Chiefs back in the red zone again. Turnover though for the Bears, and a good touch finder in the end under pressure. And the Bears have done a really good job so far today of marshalling Janine Desevo, but one opportunity there for the winger, and she was away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how many players she beat there in the end, but she's done incredibly well to get us into a great position. Shame in the end that it got turned over, but great work from Bristol. Work great to get back into defence. But another attacking opportunity here for Chiefs in the 22.
A change then for Bristol coming up shortly as well. It's Ellie Lewis down below us who's waiting to come on. Ellie Lewis then comes on for Lucy Burgess. Captain receives a warm round of applause as she leaves the field. Kate Zachary though takes this one at the back for the Chiefs. And they're going for it again here, the crowd roaring them on. And flat pass out to Cantorna. Not quite working there for the Chiefs, but they're still where they want to be. And there's Poppy Leach. And there we go for the Chiefs. They're down. It's another try for Exeter. And it's Hope Rogers closing in almost on a try a game at the moment for the Chiefs.
Yeah, there's no surprise there, really, is it, that Hope Rogers has gone over. I think great initial carry from Kate, and great recognition that Hope was on her inside shoulder.
There's a party atmosphere here now at Sandy Park. Proper party atmosphere for the Chiefs. They're up to 31 points. And Garcia lines this conversion up. They are surely now, unless something goes massively wrong, closing in on a place in the Allianz Cup final. The Bears lining up a change below us, as our Chiefs. There'll be changes at prop for the Chiefs after this conversion from Garcia. Lizzie Hanlon, Michaela Roberts both warming themselves up. Garcia again with the nudge. And a change as well for Bristol Bears. Jess Sprague coming onto the field, replacing Holly Phillips. And they're just holding off on those changes at the moment for the Chiefs, but there they are now. Lizzie Hanlon, Michaela Roberts coming on for Hope Rogers and Laura Delgado. Huge applause for all of them. Delgado clapping the crowd back and pumping that Chiefs badge on her shirt. And then the restart for Bristol. Doesn't go 10. And for the Chiefs, then exactly where they want to be again now. Middle of the park, with an opportunity both sides of the pitch here. Right in the centre of the park, the scrum then shoring up well, and Zachary then goes wide to Doige. Doige weaves, cuts through. Meryn Doige, what a line, what a break from the fullback. She's still going, is Doige. She offloads to Robinson. Robinson pulled down. Bears all over it at the breakdown. Exeter do really well to keep that one there. Garcia calling for it. She wants it quickly. Leach out to Jeffries. Jeffries to Decevo. Decevo, try. Clinical from Exeter. Brilliant from Exeter. Fantastic initial break from Doige, and that was a clinic in how to finish off a backs move there.
Yeah, I think centre scrum's always a really hard thing to defend because you can go either way and you've got so much space. But Meryn there stepping back on the inside, backing herself, showing what she's been learning recently in England Sevens camp, and a great support line from Flo at 9, which is what 9s will always look to do, just getting on the inside shoulder. And then great support from the whole team really, and a massive team try.
Huge team try for the Chiefs. 38 points on the board now. And they are romping away here at Sandy Park. Another change for the Bears, readying themselves below us, and 2 more changes for the Chiefs as well. I'll confirm all of those for you in a second after Garcia attempts this conversion. Not quite from the Spaniard. Changes then below us for the Chiefs. 3 of them: Charlie Willett, Ailey Sinclair, Brooke Bradley. All coming on for the Chiefs. It's Flo Robinson, Meryn Doige and Linda van der Velde making their way off. Huge ovation from the crowd for all of them, and a change for Bristol as well. Lauren Powell is onto the field. That's taken well by Jeffries there. Maisie Allen, sorry, apologies there, but a huge carry from Allen. She's looked dangerous and interested in the ball all evening. There is Jeffries now. He's obviously just preempting that carry there. From Bradley to Garcia, Kobayashi to Charlie Willett. Brilliant hands from Willett just onto the field. And there's space now, Cantona, and she's fed Detevo, and Detevo pins her ears back. Janine Detevo cuts inside the fullback. And Detevo is going to score a second in as many minutes. Nielsen there to greet her. Zachary there to then mob her. Exeter Chiefs go past 40. And it's so good to see Detevo there in full flight.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is just showing how much work we put on the training field, like the fitness, to be able to still be going 69 minutes into the game and to be playing at that pace and with that amount of energy. And we're just running rings around Bristol now.
It really is a clinic from Exeter Chiefs in this second half. I have to say, obviously, a fantastic finish by Detevo, but brilliant hands in the first place on that far side from Charlie Willett to hold on to that pass slightly behind her.
Yeah, it's great to see Charlie Willett out on the pitch. She works really hard in training and she's such a strong carrier up front, as you saw there, making good meters for the team to then get onto the front foot.
And Garcia then lines this one up. Takes her time, sends it towards the posts, and through the posts for Patricia Garcia. Exeter Chiefs 45-0 up here at Sandy Park. That game between Harlequins and Worcester, there have been points now. It's 15-5 to Harlequins, and a change at hooker for the Chiefs as well. Clara Nielsen's work is done. Daisy French is on to the field. That's taken well there on that far side. A penalty though for the Bears. And Bristol then, the game may be out of reach now, but there's still points out here for them. Excuse is going to send this one as close to the corner as she can. Not a bad effort there with not much of an angle to work with. Line out though doesn't connect, and it's bouncing and buffeting around, and it comes back on the Bears side, and they're still in a good position here, are Bristol. And they've got an advantage there as well. It looks like the referee's arm out. Pressing and probing in the Devon sun. Lewis then knocked backwards trying to collect the ball, but Exeter offside. It will be a Bears penalty, although referee has called time off here. And Bristol then, you would expect after this one, will pump it back into the corner. That attendance that I mentioned earlier has now just been announced to the crowd. A warm round of applause for themselves, but fantastic to see everybody here. And with the scores staying as they are, as Bristol put that one into the corner, here at Sandy Park and at Surrey Sports Park at the moment. It's looking increasingly likely that Exeter Chiefs will not only be in the final, but will host their first major final as well. But there is time off here again as a player down for the Bears. On that far side, receiving treatment. Can't quite see who that is on that far side. But the one thing you would say, that's been an onslaught from the Chiefs in the second half so far. But the Bears have stuck to their processes and they've got themselves in a good position here to see what they can try and do.
Yeah, I think initially Chiefs came out with great energy, great buzz, and we've gained a lot of points from this half. But this is definitely a great position for Bears to be in, and I think they'll be really wanting to come away with some points and finally get some on the board, because they have been in good positions throughout this game, but they've just been unlucky not to come away with anything.
A change as well then for the Chiefs. Nancy McGillivray back from under-20s action and on for Janine Desevo. One round of applause for her. Kanako Kobayashi then will switch to the wing. Still that break in play. Liv, it's one of those final 10 minutes of the game here. Obviously an injury, but both teams as well, it's about keeping fresh, just keeping those opportunities open and more importantly making sure there's no more serious injuries as well.
Yeah, I think at this point in the season, coming into playoff times, it's very important that we try and keep our players as fit as possible. And in these dying minutes when people are starting to get injured, are starting to get fatigued, especially with the heat today, it is really important that we try and keep our skills as good as possible so that we don't injure ourselves.
A break in play here, obviously still some concern. But we'll talk a little bit then about this Chiefs squad, because it's been a squad effort to get to this stage so far in the season. Away in the rain at Sale, that opening game. And then that fantastic performance at home against Worcester. Great to see the Bristol player back up on her feet and ready to go. But this hasn't been just a 1 to 23 effort. It's been a 1 to 40 or 45 effort as well from everybody involved.
Yeah, I think it is difficult for those week in, week out that don't get selected, but I know that we're all like really good friends off the pitch and we all work so hard for each other. So whether we get selected or not, we work hard on the training pitch, put in the hours and prepare the team that will be playing as best as possible.
Unfortunate for the Bears then, it's come away in Chiefs' hands. And Appleby wants her side to play it. She's screaming it below us, and Patricia Garcia has seen that space. Kobayashi, huge collision there between Kobayashi and Kiara Martin, but the Japanese player came away with it for her side. Had to there, because otherwise there was space for the Bears. I'll tell you what, Kanako was probably still smiling when she was getting hit there at 100 miles an hour. Good to see both players back up on their feet. And more of a conservative approach this time from the Chiefs. Bradley sends that one down to Loverbond. That's unfortunate there for Loverbond, playing out of position today, as Liv said. And an opportunity for Exeter again in the middle of the field to really assert their dominance now, heading into the last 5 or 6 minutes of this one at Sandy Park. heave the call from the stands, and they do just that. Bristol, though, doing well at the moment. And Bradley then has seen space herself, and Bradley is gone. She's all on her own, Brooke Bradley. Cuts back inside to Kiara Martin, races away. This could be an unbelievable solo score. She's still going, feeds it to Kate Zachary. And Zachary then goes route one, 5 metres out from the line. And Bradley, her break created this opportunity for the Chiefs as Jeffries with the carry. And again to Cantona. Poppy Leach as well. And Bristol have done well to hold her up so far. And can Chiefs get themselves down and over the ground? Yes, they have. And it's Charlie Willett who has scored the try. A first try in an Exeter Chiefs shirt for Charlie Willett. That was electric from Brooke Bradley as well there to create that opportunity.
Yeah, I think Brooke went to play open there, saw the 6 right in her face, and then has done very well. Such a fast player, has beaten the 9, beaten the winger, and the work rate from the forwards then to stay on her shoulder, especially Kate Zachary with her pace as we've seen so far. And yeah, done very well to turn that into a try.
Like you said, Elsie, that first break was electric, but then really, really good work from everybody there in that pack, because Bristol were really doing everything they could to try and hold that ball up.
It's good to see Gabby taking the conversion, giving it a go again.
Well, she's obviously seen that Patricia Garcia is starting to close in on her as Chiefs all-time point scorer and thought, I've had enough of that.
Yeah, she won't be having any of that. Very competitive, always has to win. It's the American in her.
Cantona then adds the extras for the Chiefs. They're up to 52 points for the day. And a little under 5 minutes left on our clock up here. Taken well then by Zachary, and she's off again. And there is space here. McGillivray feeds Leach, and Poppy Leach gets her hands free, and Garcia to Roberts to Jones. They're all lining up here on this side, and Jones has to push her way back in field. And Leach again gets her hands on the ball, tips it on to Lizzie Hanlon. Great carry from Hanlon. And Kaneko Kobayashi to Maisie Allen. Pulled to ground there. And Leach again gets her hands on the ball. Marlo Boyd pulls her to ground. Garcia to Jeffries, Ebony Jeffries. That is a stunning line, and she tries to get her hands free. It's a deliberate knock on. It's a yellow card for Bristol Bears, and surely that's got to be a penalty try.
You would think so, because if she got that pass away there, no one was stopping her.
And the referee then is having a conversation with the touch judge here. Try to stay as impartial as we can up here in commentary, but either way, even if that was the other way round, you would still say that was a surefire penalty try, and indeed it is. And a yellow card as well for the Bears, but that is all down. That is all down to Ebony Jeffries and that stunning, stunning line that we've seen so many times this season.
Yeah, she's so good at running short lines. Her timing is always amazing, and she gets such pace behind her.
15-5. Bears get us back underway then. Kate Zachary again. And feeds Cantona. Garcia to Jones, and Jones to Allen, and Allen to Kobayashi. And Chiefs are really stretching their legs here. Kobayashi cuts back in field, eventually hauled down by Martin. And Leach to Roberts. Great to see Michaela Roberts back out on the field for Exeter. And Jones then, there is space here. She's put a little dig through to Kobayashi to chase. And the touchline just beats out the Japanese international. There's a line out here for the Bears. If you're looking for the score in the other semi-final at the moment, Worcester have narrowed the gap to 3 points with just 3 minutes to go at Surrey Sports Park. 15-12, Harlequins currently lead Worcester. A knock on there from the Bears, unfortunate from Alice Lockwood. And Lauren Powell then makes her way onto the field for Lily Stoker-Goddard. And the Chiefs then will be wanting to finish with a flourish here at Sandy Park. They've got a penalty. That's the first part done, and Brooke Bradley says, let's play. Didn't take it from the mark, though. Cantona then puts that one into touch, went as close to the try line as she could with that. And the Chiefs then will be looking for one final flourish as Laura Delgado below us whips the crowd up into chants of Exeter, Exeter. And the pack again then are motoring forward here. Bradley marshalling them, looking to get them over the line again. And they are. And it's Daisy French. And that is a final flourish from the Chiefs. And what a moment for Daisy French as well. And what a time to bank your first try for Exeter Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. She's been working hard all season. She spends a lot of time getting on the bench, which is really good. But today, she's come on and she's really made a difference. So well done to her for getting her try.
A huge round of applause from the crowd for the Chiefs. They know that the job is done. Liv, I'm going to let you run down to join the girls at full time. As Gabby Cantona lines up the conversion. Can Cantona add a final slice? Yes, she can. Beautifully worked in, just inside the left-hand post. And that then is full time here at Sandy Park. Exeter Chiefs. The challenge was on for them. What could they do in their first ever competitive semi-final? Well, there's your answer. 10 tries, 2 in the first half, 8 in the second. They have dispatched West Country rivals Bristol Bears here at Sandy Park, and they have their own date with destiny in the Cup next Saturday at 2 p.m. I can tell you now that that game will most likely be here at Sandy Park unless we hear any differently. But who they will be facing is still an unknown quantity. Clock in the red.